Greetings all, this is the forecast for April 2023. I like to merge human design and astrology. And I'm going to bring up the page. Too bad you guys can't see the flame of my candle. That didn't work so well. Was listening to an interview with a guitarist of a metal band in the early 2000s, and it was very interesting. At the end of the interview, he was pointing out how when he records music, he always preferred more analog elements than digital, and the imperfection that arose and not being obsessed with time signatures or metronome counts for how they're playing music, but he was more interested in the chaotic elements of just the holism of what something is and not its perfection. And then at the end of the interview, he mentioned how the lack of preciseness or the lack of ability to nail down, a precise description of reality, whether it's he didn't even go that far. He just says it's more of a simulation than anything else. It's more of some simulated realm. And it was great. It was just right on. Who knows how much awareness he even had of that truth. I think he had actually some decent amount of awareness, as he's been into people that explain this much for a while. And so the dream wave forecast. The planets are the dream symbols of the dream, the language we are born into, so as to play with what we do not yet understand. The chart is the area wherein we project out and play our stories out in this holographic creatrix. The purpose of life is to play out what we do not yet understand. Life is a play and exercise of free fate. Life is a holographic projection. Astrology and human design are some of the interfaces, the codes that we use to describe, to play, replay, and direct back at ourselves. Now, this idea of our frame of reality is a type of construct. Immediately, like an inquirer attempting to use reason to grasp at what he is or what one is. A shadow is cast and created. And so in this idea, there's a multiplicity or duality that's created because we're reflecting on the self, on our coded awareness. And this creates the double, and this creates a certain effect. And this is why, in a sense, we're not here to be stuck in the mind or live in the mind. And I just say this as a reminder that when I do this forecast, it's not for you guys to memorize, but you'll take it in through the left brain, and then it'll do its purpose through your physiology. And if words need to be remembered, or tones or images from what I'm presenting, then your body will bring those up. Because as Ra said, we are in a sense fated. We are in a sense passengers in this vehicle, in this movement throughout whatever this is that we're trapped in, or seemingly trapped in. Rather, we obviously chose this on some level to be in this experience. Now, in human design, 64 gates, and each month the sun takes about 4 to 5 days. It spends time in each gate, and that's about 4 or 5 gates every month. This month, we're finishing out with some gates at the end of March, and then April will begin some other Aries gates, and it'll end with some Taurus gates. We begin with gate 21, the resource manager, good boundary practices, and tools to take charge, managing for empowerment of others, or fearing one's own power. Mostly every gate is a dichotomy, is a dualism. So it's our choice here to have good boundaries with others, or to be stuck in fear of others or fear of our own power. 851 will begin April 5th, and this is a known gate of intensity. This is the gate of the shock. Some call it the thunderbolt, radical trust and faith, or shock to hurt, press buttons, and deeply trigger traumatic wounds in others. This is also a gate of awakening, of initiation. And this will be to April 10th. Gate 42 will occur around April 11th. This is the gate of growth, full growth and potential goals and dreams, or a repression of one's own dreams and goals and stagnation. Gate 3, the full, an initial challenges. Do not fear chaos, employed as I do. Gate 3 is a very chaotic, uncontrollable, enduring energy, which settles and aligns itself in time. But initially, it's a very Saturnian gate. There's a lot of challenges initially before it can align itself with whatever is. And so it appears as chaos to be employed. And this is April 16th to the 21st. Gate 27, the empowered caretaker. This is a gate about the tribe, boundaries between self-care and other care. So with gate 27, and this is April 22nd to the 27th, this is wanting to care for others and that balance with self-care. So remember to make sure you're providing your self-care on these days and not being caught up in the care for others, but more so of an attempt at balance. April 28th to April 30th, and this will continue a couple days into May, is gate 24, the mystical silence, embracing silence, or running the mouth. In other words, creating noise and chaos of noise. Gate 24 is it's part of an individual channel circuit, and it's very powerful in terms of mysticism and transmitting, or it's the opposite. It's not knowing when to stop talking, and I've definitely seen this in late Tauruses. As a reminder, Pluto will continue in Aquarius. This will be till June, I think, and then it'll go out back into Capricorn and back in October. Pluto in Aquarius 2023 to 2024. Lots of changes. You can read some of these here. I have a video on this. All the planets have been direct. Mars has not been very strong in the 29th, the final degree of Gemini. And we've had these last couple months to whatever we want to do, whatever we want to initiate now, has been the time for that. And in a couple weeks, things are going to start to get a little tricky, as Mercury will go retrograde on the 21st, all the way up to May 14th. So the more likelihood of mix-ups, errors, and delays. Taurus will be retrograding 15 to 5 degrees, or Mercury, I should say, Mercury in Taurus, will be retrograding 15 to 5, and so finances will be have to be kind of reviewed, reflected on, and reset. Saturn continues in Pisces. There's kind of a strange soul thievery that abounds in this. This is Saturn attempting to ground the Piscean. And so what can be grounded actually are energies that are not in a body. So be careful to be present in your body and grounding into the earth or the ocean or the sand and the appropriate correct timing. This does not. This energy is also conjunct the asteroid Nessus, and so keeping your boundaries tight, and I'm talking about the boundaries of your skin, your spirit, and your body, putting your hand on your heart, being fully present and grounded in your body, and knowing when you are not, so you could get back in. Venus enters Taurus on April 10th. A good time to speak up and speak your mind, especially in matters of the heart. Watch out days, the 14th and the 10th. Those are just fairly intense days with a lot of intense aspects. The grace days are the 7th, 10th as well, the 11th, the 16th, the 23rd, the 25th, and the 30th. Full moon this month is going to be April 6th, and that's going to be, the full moon is going to be in Libra, 16 degrees. And then the new moon will be on the 17th of April, just about when Mercury's going retrograde, and it will be a solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries. So those of you who are born around this time of the month, you'll be feeling it on your sun. And then the opposite sign, Libras, will be feeling effects, not only from the full moon, but a couple weeks later, because the solar eclipse will be opposing your sun. And these full moons and eclipse will also be squaring Cancer and Capricorn in the latter degrees. The Pluto moon days, as I like to mark for the month, because these are usually blowout periods where the energy is so intense that there's often emotional blowouts. We have April 1st, the moon in Leo will oppose Pluto in Aquarius. April 7th, the moon in Scorpio will square Pluto in Aquarius. April 14th, the moon in Aquarius will conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And April 20th, the moon in Taurus will square Pluto in Aquarius. And finally, April 27th, the moon in Leo will oppose Pluto. In summary, this month, things are going to really shift. There's going to be a lot more chaos. And just make sure to tie down what you have set as far as your intentions, because you'll just need to continually reorder things to make sure to reset things, to make sure that what you have sought out, what to intentionalize into the world in these last couple of months is secure and solid. And you'll just want to go back and review those things, because we are going into a retrograde period. And this eclipse in Aries bodes some intense changes over the summer months and into the fall. Eclipse season will continue in May, and those will continue in Aries and Libra for the next year and a half. So Aries and Libras, and what I mean by that is we all have Aries and Libra, of course, in our charts. Just especially those with Aries and Libra suns, moons, and ascendants. And hope that guidance was helpful. And go ahead and give yourself time to take this information in. it's a lot of information, and your spirit can hear it in its own way.